Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Marvel Legends series Spider-Man and Morbius 2-pack of Spider-Man and Morbius. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top we have the Spider-Man face. He used to shine that out with his light on his belt, if anybody remembers that. Then we have Spider-Man, Morbius, Marvel Legends series, and then in the background some nice comic book, or maybe it's cartoon art, but I think it's comic book art. And then nice digital renders of the two included figures. The Amazing Spider-Man 4-and-up assortment number. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Hasbro print, plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. Also, plastic-free packaging, in case you forgot where we just talked about it. Except tape and glue. And on this side, Marvel Legends series, and then we've got some nice digital renders of the included figures. On the other side, some nice comic artwork of Morbius and Spidey. And then here at the bottom, Marvel Legends series. Then on the back, Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man, Morbius. Nice digital renders of the figures and included accessories. Then here we have on the bottom, warning, attention, Octoon. Don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. Recycled stuff includes 2 figures and 3 accessories. And then there it is again in some other languages, small, fine, legalese, made in China print, Marvel print, Hasbro print. And that, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and their accessories. We'll start off with the accessories, and here we have, where did they go? Handy dandy tweezers right here. And first up, Spider-Man's accessories. He comes with an extra thwip hand and an extra fist, all gloved. So they go on the gloved hands, of course. So now let's take a look at Morbius's accessories. He has a flat cape with a post on it, and like a flying cape with a post on it. And we'll get to how that works in a minute. Let's take a look at the figures themselves. This is mostly reuse from the previous Spider-Man. I think even down to every single one of the arms. The only difference is the torso, which was one piece before, now has a split in it. So it's got a point of articulation that the previous release did not have. It's all very soft plastic. Everything is pinned, unfortunately. And I'm not the biggest fan of this Spider-Man anyway. And it just, I don't know. It feels like a lackluster improvement where, you know, they just did this. They could have went through and redone the legs and stuff. They actually could have gone in my opinion. Let's move Morbius out of the way. He's making the camera jump. You know, I don't think this is popular enough to warrant an entire retooling of everything on it, or even, you know, a new version of this figure. But that's just me. Your mileage, of course, may vary. I'm surprised they even updated it with the torso articulation. But let's take a look at his articulation, and he's on a hinge and ball here at the top of the neck. He can look up that high. He can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck. It's rather stiff. He's got a little bit of waggle in there. He can do the full exorcist. And I'm not going to cover the articulation of every single arm. They're all pretty much the same. Come out that far, and well, so they all come out that far, so they all have pretty much the same range of motion. 360 degrees of rotation, they'll all do that. 360 degrees of rotation at the upper bicep, they all do that. They all have double hinged pinned elbows, and they all pretty much give you that much bend. There may be a little bit of variation in the range of motion there, but not by much. At the wrist, 360 degree rotation, they all do that. In and out hinge, they're all on in and out hinges. How about that? Then we have the new point of articulation, and let's see. He can lean back just slightly. He can lean forward just slightly. He can do a full 360 degree rotation there, which the last one didn't even have anything at the waist either. So he can kick forward better than 90 degrees, so that's nice, I guess. He doesn't really step back any. There is a cut here at the upper thigh, 360 degrees worth of movement, and then double hinge pin knee gives you that much bend, and at the upper shin there's a boot cut for another 360 degree rotation. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and a forward facing pin for rocker. Okay, that does it for Spider-Man. Let's take a look at Morbius. And again, this Morbius, I don't think they've changed anything from the previous release of this Morbius. I think everything is exactly the same. The only difference is I think the last one came with a different set of hands as well. This one did not. Looks like there's a paint app here, some paint apps up here. This looks like a glued on piece, which is fine. And some paint for the eyes, inside of the mouth, the beard, the hair I think is a separate piece. So very Michael Morbius looking, in my opinion. You can see right here, he's got a port in the back where the capes have posts, and they just post in whichever one that you want to use, the flying one or the vanilla one, and they both just port in right there. So there's that. So it's nice that they at least give you two different capes for him. And you know, mold wise, it's not something we haven't seen before. I don't know exactly which mold it is, but it is that old double hinged pinned joints. Let's take a look at his articulation. Because of the collar and the hair, he really doesn't look up much. And then he can look down that far, and he's on ball and hinge, so he's got some chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He can, with a slight bit of difficulty, not too bad, he can do the full exorcist, 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder, and he can, his arm moves up about 90 degrees at the shoulder. Cut here at the upper bicep, full 360 degrees of rotation. Like I said before, double hinge pinned elbow, Gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and the other side is in and out hinge as well. Classic ab hinge. Allows him to lean back that far. Forward that far. Straight cut at the waist for a 360 degree rotation. At the hips, kind of disappointing. He only gives you that much of the splits. He can kick up a little past 90 degrees, it appears. Step back about 2 or so steps. Cut here at the upper thigh for a full 360 degree rotation. Double hinge pinned knee. Gives you that much bend. Then here at the upper shin, a 360 degree boot cut, even though I'm not quite sure that classifies as a boot, but at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. And that, my friends, is a look at the figures and their accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Marvel Legends series 6-armed Spider-Man and Morbius 2-pack with the Marvel Legends series Kingpin Build-A-Figure Waves 6-armed Spider-Man, the Marvel Legends series Molten Man Build-A-Figure Waves Doppelganger, and the old Toy Biz, and I want to say this is from a Spider-Man line, not Marvel Legends, but the old Toy Biz Morbius. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Marvel Legends series Spider-Man and Morbius 2-pack, with our final Marvel Legends series comparison making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, we have Hasbro Pulse's exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Marvel Legends series 6-armed Spider-Man and Morbius 2-pack, I will have to say I did not get the previous release of this Morbius, which is the reason I picked this 2-pack up. And the added ab articulation in the 6-armed Spider-Man is not much of an improvement for this figure over the previous release. You know, it is giving people what they complained about, which was no ab articulation in the previous release. So, you know, they kind of gave us what we wanted, but honestly, the sculpt on this is just not great at all. I do like the fact that the web lines are sculpted in. A little bit of wash or something to help those lines stand out would have been great. But alas, it is not so. This Spider-Man, I think, is just way undersized. I knew Spider-Man's not a great big dude, but I just think the proportions of this figure are they're not right. And I understand they probably cut down the size of the figure a little bit to accommodate all the plastic of the 6 arms, you know, the 4 extra arms, that is. But, you know, even the Spider-Man arms, the ones in the costume, seem a bit smaller than the other 4. And while this is a good idea in concept, execution is lacking. And you guys know I don't really like to talk bad about, you know, I don't like to say, I guess I just don't want to hurt people's feelings. Not that anybody from Hasbro is watching this, but I really don't like disparaging on somebody's, you know, work if it's heartfelt. And I don't really feel like this is a heartfelt rendition of the character. Not that I'm a big fan of this, you know, when that happened to Spider-Man. It just... I just think the execution is lacking. And whether it was company cost-cutting or, you know, it wasn't in the budget, I don't know. I don't know what the inner workings of Hasbro are, but, you know, it made for a very lackluster 6-armed Spider-Man figure. I would really like to see them, not that I'm really looking for a 6-armed Spider-Man, but I would like to see them do this justice and retool the Renew Your Vows mold to accommodate the extra arms and you know, just see how that works out. That mold's already there, the arms are already there, so they'd have to like rework the upper torso maybe. I don't know. Again, I'm not a toy designer, I don't work for Hasbro, but anyway, only reason that I picked this pack up is I needed a new Morbius, because as you saw in comparisons, the only other Morbius that I have is the old Toy Biz Spider-Man line. Well, at least I think he was Spider-Man line. I know he wasn't Marvel Legends, so I'm pretty sure he was out of the Spider-Man line. And the reason he really needs replacing is, look at his face. It's made out of rubber, because it has this mouth opening gimmick where you mash a button on his back and his mouth opens up, and so the face is all rubber and it is starting to just decay. And he's a living vampire, he's not supposed to decay. So that, and the fact that my wife told me she needed something to hit the minimum on a Walmart shipment, and I found this on clearance on Walmart. It fit the bill, and I wanted the Morbius, and so I picked it up. And you know, I'm not super happy with the fact that they didn't update anything on this Morbius. I don't have the previous release of this one, obviously, but it just doesn't seem like they did anything to it. They could have at least improved, you know, given him the pinless knees and elbows to help with, you know, stability over time, because, you know, those knees tend to bend and warp and stuff. And the newer ones don't seem to. I'm not going to say they won't, but so far so good with the pinless knees. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you. But only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.